If you had to pick one word to describe one of your favorite games, what would you say? Some people would consider their favorite game to be addicting. Others would describe a game as beautiful or maybe even just elaborate or detailed. But Astral Chain, a recent sci-fi fantasy beat-em-up action adventure made by PlatinumGames, encapsulates the concept of a very important word when it comes to game design and keeping the player entertained. That word is satisfying. I pretty much haven't been able to put this game down, and the reason for that is because the game's presentation satisfies my desire for visual beauty and wonder, while the game's gameplay design simultaneously satisfies my urge to feel accomplished and powerful. The fusion of both satisfaction and beauty draws the player, also meaning me, deeper and deeper into this sort of awe-inspiring fairy tale, where visuals complement action, and your growth as a skilled player complements that word we keep coming back to, satisfaction. That is the beauty of Astral Chain. Half of the battle for making a game visually attractive is vibrant world design and variety in color schemes to make settings in the universe feel alive. The other half is user interface. How pleasing is it on the eyes, and how much does it make the player feel like a part of the world? Just for context, Astral Chain places you in control of a police academy cadet, soon to be full-blown officer of interdimensional justice. Set in the future, science fiction and technological advancements are the thematic focuses of the overall design. Invaders from another dimension appear as the Union develops astral technology that allows them to control those creatures as their own personal bodyguards, called legions. A combination of supernatural beings and advanced technology. With that in mind, we can focus on each aspect of the UI one at a time to analyze their beauty and the accuracy in which they represent the theme. Starting with the HUD, or heads-up display for all the rookies out there. The HUD is essentially representative of the heads-up display you would see on most futuristic military or space marine helmets. Each component is set at a slight angle, as if positioned at the corners of a helmet visor, and all of the pieces also float around slightly, lagging behind the movement of the camera. You can also imagine it as the HUD being a physical hologram present in the world around the player, and it has a small three-dimensional effect to add to that. Each box on the HUD has a dotted grid pattern behind them, like a projector screen behind every component projecting the information into the world. Changes made within the UI also match the concept of a holographic optical device. For example, switching your active item brings up another holographic wheel, and cycling through items has this type of flashy blinking effect, like a computer system processing data or typing out information. Much like the way a screen would boot up on Titans in Titanfall, or how the UI fizzles into existence in Metroid Prime. The UI pulses, flickers, rotates, flashes, everything you'd expect for the future of technology. And there's a surprising amount of detail for the HUD that just feels right. A tiny circle pulses around whichever weapon you select, boxes expand when you use an item, and pieces are highlighted when you summon your legion. Bringing up various menus has this type of grid line expansion, as if a screen is being generated within the space in front of you. There's no break in immersion, since no menus appear in full screen. Everything is happening within the world projected in front of you, and you're always a part of the action. You're always at the scene and always on the job. Always in the mind of a super soldier police officer. And this UI is constantly active. Selections highlight themselves, scan lines flow across the background, these labels have a blinking text line, and like I mentioned earlier, the menus flicker and fizzle all over the place. It just feels good to navigate these menus. After all, if you owned a holographic display device in real life, you would most likely enjoy just tapping various screens and icons. You also possess an investigative eyepiece called Iris, transforming the entire world into your own personal holodeck. And this visual style is beautiful. It cel shades the world, grants X-ray vision, and even the HUD elements are highlighted in a glowing aura, kind of like a glare on every element. Just take a second to admire the presentation of activating Iris. There's a lot of detail in something as trivial as using a scan mode, so feel free to replay the last several seconds and notice all of the little things. This immaculate interface is matched only by one other thing, the satisfying feeling of playing as a completely badass superhero. PlatinumGames is often known for fast-paced action, visual splendor, and unique gameplay design, and Astral Chain is no exception. As a sci-fi style beat-em-up, you could expect a plethora of visual stimulation during combat. Lots of enemies, particle effects, and over-the-top combat maneuvers that make you feel incredibly powerful. But Astral Chain's main attraction exists in the way that combat and even general gameplay is consistently satisfying. Take this basic scenario, present for essentially any encounter in the game. Enemies appear in front of you, and your instinct is to summon your legion to fight at your side. As you do so, a vibrant, powerful shockwave emanates from thin air. Your hair changes color, your weapon flashes and glows with pure energy, and particle effects float delicately around you. You and your legion unleash a flurry of powerful attacks, and before long, the most crucial aspect of combat in Astral Chain suddenly presents itself: the sync attack. After certain command inputs, or as a result of a combo attack, your legion device will flash a bright blue. This is accompanied by a brilliant bullet time effect, a camera focus on the player that blurs the rest of the world, and even a suiting audio ping and holographic design. This is the bread and butter of Astral Chain's combat. Commanding your legion during these flashes will activate a sync attack, in which you and your legion often combine forces to unleash devastating attacks, sometimes binding enemies within chains or launching them into the air. They also trigger from dodging attacks at just the right time or summoning your legion just before an enemy strikes. Successfully string together multiple sync attacks and you'll soon begin to feel like an unstoppable machine, expertly synchronized with your legion and accomplished as a player, not to mention satisfied beyond all belief. Input specific directions during attacks or delay your inputs, and you can execute even more advanced maneuvers, and suddenly you've gone from police officer to an interdimensional god. Each legion has their own unique ability, such as using the Sword Legion to cut through the energy of enemy attacks, which results in an incredibly satisfying visual effect, or the Arm Legion, which surrounds the player like a suit of armor, letting them deliver an onslaught of powerful punches. Needless to say, this is also very satisfying. Finish the fight by ripping out the core from your enemies in a fantastic and beautiful final freeze frame, and you've got the recipe for one hell of a satisfying battle. And after all that, when you finally dismiss your legion, it dissipates into sparkling particles, closing the curtain of the battle, and you feel, take a guess, satisfied. Astral Chain is one of the most visually stunning games I've played probably ever. From its presentation to its attention to detail and even its graphical accomplishments, it's a beautiful game to experience. There are also a lot of things I didn't mention in this video. Character designs, animations on the player and weapon changes, sound design, equipment customization, legion colors, and UI display and color settings to name a few. But the focus of this video was just to highlight how satisfying and beautifully presented Astral Chain is as a project. I can't seem to get enough of this game, so consider this a shining recommendation for fans of action-adventure and science fiction. Seriously, you should probably get this game. Oh, also you can unlock cat ears. Just saying.